This is Shum reporting from the New York Times. At around 5 o'clock p.m. yesterday, the New York Times was the first to break news of a bribery scandal. And documents obtained by the New York Times reveals unsettling actions of Chinese officials in a small rural area where MSF workers were told to administer a new influenza drug to patients. However, MSF workers soon realized that the drugs they were administering were causing immediate illness to their patients. And when searching for more information about these drugs, identified as drugs as part of a clinical trial conducted by MonWHO, they were not well received by Chinese officials.
My workers were given bribes to administer the drugs. Well, right now I've removed my field workers from the local area. They're still refusing to give us any information.
Let's take a look at what China had to say about these allegations.
Yeah, okay.
One more question. I have here also obtained from the New York Times an email outlining that you were in fact informed of bribery taking place. What do you have to say about that?
As I said, I really don't know where you're getting this information from.
This has been Shum for the New York Times. Resuming my conversation with a delegate from China, Shum here from the New York Times. Delegate from China, I'd like to know what you hope to accomplish during the MonWHO conference. How has it begun? How is it going? And what are your goals here?
Well, in the last few decades, we've definitely seen a huge economic reform. Right now, our main concern is our healthcare reform. It's really suffering in terms of rural populations not getting the quality, a lot of corruption within the hospitals due to our doctors not getting paid enough. Our physicians' salaries are very low at the moment, and they're incentivized by their own hospitals to overutilize expensive therapies, expensive medication. They're also bribed by other companies, pharmaceutical companies, to prescribe medications that are very unnecessary. So those are some topics that we'll probably be expecting to get help and tips on to really work towards building some policies that can really set those aspects of healthcare into an effective plan.
This is Shum reporting for the New York Times. Pfizer says there is policy to retire expired drugs for patient safety. However, when pressed about the repeated history of drugs having gone missing from the same Brazil warehouse, Pfizer denied any knowledge of such allegations. Unsafe Pfizer drugs were reported by Care International after news from healthcare workers based in Haiti, Honduras, and Peru that patients had fallen ill after administration of what seemed to be contaminated antiretroviral drug Mariviroc produced by Pfizer. Pfizer delegate denies any involvement of Pfizer with the contaminated drugs. MSF has already expressed their frustration over U.S. drug company MonWHO earlier today. Now they have consistently expressed disdain for the apparent corruption between U.S. drug company Pfizer and Brazil. Brazil has maintained confusion about where these allegations of corruption are based, despite having had the entire day to contact government sources in Brazil.
I honestly have no idea if this is the same type of drug that you're talking about. The fact that the drugs have been found missing is evidence of a system that's working. Corruption happens.
Delegate from China.
Yep.
Good evening. I'm Shum from the New York Times. We spoke earlier.
Yes, we did.
I want to bring to your attention two documents from the New York Times that we've obtained. Here, this letter. Have you seen this before? Does this look familiar?
No.
This explicitly says that the Chinese government bribed MonWHO in the scandal that we're reporting on. Do you have any comments?
I mean, these are just words on a piece of paper. I don't see anything official in this. This could be from anywhere and anything.
So, do you deny the expulsion of MSF workers from China immediately after the scandal broke?
There might be some truth to it. Obviously, that did carry out. There's no way we can hide that we expelled these workers whose integrity was compromised, and we don't really want to be associated with them. So,
what do you have to say about the scandal?
As I said, I was initially unaware because we have many trials going on throughout the country, and this scandal is just completely false. Completely false.
We have here a letter.
Yeah. Okay.
One more question. I have here also obtained from the New York Times an email outlining that you were in fact informed of bribery taking place. What do you have to say about that?
As I said, I really don't know where you're getting this information from. We have not been providing any bribes to any individuals. We do not do that at all. We take things very seriously, especially when it comes to clinical trials. The USA might be influencing your media team. You seem to be a little biased, one-sided, so I'm just assuming.
Thank you, delegate from China. Thank you very much. This has been Katie Shum for the New York Times. Hi, this is Katie Shum for the New York Times. Last night at the MonWHO social, in a last-ditch effort to gain ties to push his resolutions forward, Italy stood up and sang Happy Birthday, opera style, to one of the MonWHO exec. Thank you. This has been Katie Shum for the New York Times. Hi, this is Katie Shum reporting for the New York Times. Let's take a look at what some of the delegates had to say about this year's MonWHO 2013 conference.
Well, I don't want to say anything. I'm allowed to refuse anything, right?
Like the U.S., they're maybe a little bit out of the rule, I'd say.
I am refusing to give a comment, so.
Maybe a little bit frustrating for a lot of the delegates as well.
And this has been interesting for me because I was a volunteer on Friday and now I'm Canada. So this goes to show how easy it is to run this country.
Some of them maybe just underplayed what they should have been. Instead of taking the leading role, they take a little bit more of the backseat, and I would have liked to see some more of their opinions so that we could get a bigger debate going on, because especially in the European regional bloc, it was a little bit dead, I have to say.
Burkina Faso feels that delegation have not been well representing their countries, but rather talking as optimist participants of the WHO simulation.
As MonWHO, I was severely attacked by all different sides, from countries, from other pharmaceuticals, from NGOs, and the media. However, I loved it.
I think that the Montreal World Health Organization Conference simulation is a fantastic opportunity to empower students and to give students who are in this kind of program a great way to discuss and share their ideas, because almost all of them have seriously been fantastic.
Despite criticisms, it seems that everyone enjoyed their time here at MonWHO 2013, and we look forward to next year's conference, where we hope that more will be done to empower healthcare globally. Thank you. This has been Katie Shum for the New York Times.